again, welcome to another video on the channel. Today we've got the Premier League predictions video that we said would be out about 3 weeks ago, but it's coming out now. I'm joined by Philip. Say hello. And yeah, we are predicting every single Premier League fixture, and then we will give the table at the end of the season.
I'll explain as well. We won't discuss every fucking game. It'll take forever. We'll only discuss the derbies, the interesting games,
or a shock in a result.
Or a shock result in there.
This is game week 1. Liverpool versus Norwich, the first game of the season. I've gone with a 4-0 Liverpool victory.
4-1 Liverpool.
Unlucky Ralph fan. Liverpool are just a good team, really.
Have fun, Norwich bastards.
West Ham versus Man City. I've gone 3-1 Man City.
2-0 Manchester City.
Bournemouth versus Sheffield United. 2-0 Bournemouth.
1-0 Bournemouth.
Burnley versus Southampton. I've gone with 1-0.
2-1 Southampton.
Crystal Palace versus Everton. I've gone 2-0 Everton.
I'm calling it 3-1 Everton.
Leicester versus Wolves. One of the tastiest games last year. It's probably game of the season. I've gone 3-2 Leicester this time.
Gone with my first is a lot of people, as I like to do a lot of 2-2s, and this is my first Desmond 2-2.
Watford versus Brighton. I've gone 2-0 Watford.
I've gone with the same result.
Tottenham Aston Villa. I've gone 2-0 to Tottenham.
I've gone with 3-1 to Tottenham.
Newcastle versus Arsenal. I've gone with a 3-1 Arsenal victory.
I've gone with 2-0 Arsenal.
And Man United versus Chelsea in Frank Lampard's first game. But it's a defeat. 2-1 Man United.
Second Desmond 2-2.
Man United have just signed Wan-Bissaka, you know, to tighten up the defence a little bit. No Hazard for Chelsea. With Saunders gone out on loan. What a devastating blow. And yeah, Lampard's just he's got to do with what he's got, really, isn't it?
Game week 2, Arsenal versus Burnley. I've gone with 2-1 Arsenal.
I've gone 3-0 Arsenal.
Aston Villa versus Bournemouth. I've gone with score 1-0.
2-1 Aston Villa. I just want to say, I think Aston Villa are going to have a good season. You know, they've got a decent team.
Brighton versus West Ham. I've gone with 1-0 to West Ham.
I've gone 1-0. Lewis Dunk's going to keep it.
If he's still there. Chelsea versus Leicester. I've gone with 2-1 Chelsea win.
I've gone with a 2-2 draw. Lampard is finding it hard.
Next we have Everton versus Watford. Watford Silver Derby. And I think it will be 2-1 to Everton.
I've gone 2-0 Everton.
Next we have a near and dear game to Mr. Aaron Fenner, Forest Green Rovers fan heart. Very tasteful game in the Champions League, and I've thrown up some good league games. I'll come to you first as a Forest Green fan with your expert analysis on
We won't have Heung-min Son because he's suspended for the Villa game in this game because of his sending off last season against Bournemouth. That's a big factor because he was brilliant in the Champions League against them. So it's a big miss. Could work out with Lucas and Kane, you know, two different approaches against their defence, but I am going with the 3-1 Man City result. I think they're too strong. I don't really see anyone beating them at their grand season.
I have also said that Manchester City will score 3 goals, but I think Tottenham will score 2. Next up we have the versus Newcastle, and they have a very personal hatred towards Norwich. Well, it's near the local team to me, and I very much envy their success and our failure, so I don't like Norwich. I think it will be 0-0.
I've gone with 1-0 Norwich.
Sheffield United are taking on Crystal Palace.
I think Phil Jagielka is going to pop up with the winner. 1-0 Sheffield United.
I think it will be 1-0 in the opposite direction, 1-0 to Cardiff.
Crystal Palace waiting up Cardiff.
If they, I don't know, there's another debate to be had whether they'll still have Zaha. They've lost Wan-Bissaka, but they'll rebuild in the right areas. You know, they've got a good owner, they've got a good manager. Liverpool's B team against Liverpool's A team. I think it'll be 4-1 to Liverpool A team.
I've gone 2-0 Liverpool A team.
Finally, on game week 2, we have Wolves versus Manchester United. I think it will be a Desmond 2-2.
I've gone with a 1-0. It's similar, but game week 3 starts off with Bournemouth versus Man City. I've gone with 4-0 Man City.
I've gone with 4-0 -1. That makes sense.
So is that 3-0 or 4-1?
Yeah, it's 3-0.
He's gone Aston Villa versus Everton. Pip's going to like me for this. I've gone with a Desmond 2-2. Brighton versus Southampton. This is Phip's ball draw. What have you gone with?
I've gone with 2-1 Southampton.
I've gone 1-0 Southampton. Liverpool versus Arsenal.
It's not a big game because Arsenal ain't a big club.
It's the one and only Digo Double G.
I've gone with 4-2 Liverpool.
I've gone with 3-1.
Manchester United versus Crystal Palace. I'm going with a 2-0 Aaron Wan-Bissaka win.
I've gone with a 2-1 Manchester United win, plain and simple.
Norwich versus Chelsea. I've gone with 2-1 Chelsea.
I've gone with 2-0 to the slightly bluer.
Sheffield United versus Leicester. I've gone with a 2-0 Leicester victory.
I've gone with a 3-1 Leicester victory.
Tottenham Hotspur versus Newcastle United. Newcastle are a shitter of a season, I predict, based on no Rafa, no Ayers, no Perez, no Rondon. I've gone with 4-0 Tottenham.
I've gone 3-1 to the Hotspurs.
Watford versus West Ham, 1-0.
1-0 as well.
And Wolves versus Burnley, what have you gone with?
2-0 to the Wanderers.
I've gone 3-0 to the Wandering Does.
Game week 4 kicks off on this website with a very small derby, I think. I don't know whether... I don't think it's on the level of Brighton versus Crystal Palace.
No.
But it's just Arsenal versus Tottenham. If only we had a Tottenham fan who would be able to provide some insight on what they think this game result's going to be. I'll just give it to the Forest Green fan for the time being.
So, this is a very close derby, always has been. It's at the Emirates. Arsenal always turn up, Tottenham always turn up. It's just normally that they turn up more. We beat them in the Carabao Cup. Arguably we've got the better team than them now. For this, I'm going to go fair for once. I'm going fair. I'm not going biased. I tried not to be biased. I did change my score. I originally put a Spurs win. This time I've gone 1-0. It's a case of it's early in the season. Both teams haven't got started, but it doesn't change the fact that they're shit and that they're going to finish below us at the end of the season. Sorry, but below Tottenham, because Forest Green are the first team with bamboo kits.
I've gone with a 3-2 Tottenham win. I think it'll be one of those, it'll be till about the 87th.
Oh, I'd love it if Toby just fucking smashed it over Leno's head.
Why would you love it?
Because just as a neutral, it'd be bloody brilliant. You know, or even Harry Kane firing one in 45 yards out, you know, over everyone's head, smashing the crossbar, smashing DT's head in, and then going into the net.
Right, next we have Burnley at home to Liverpool. I think it's just going to be a straightforward game for Liverpool, 4-1 win.
I've gone with a 3-0 Liverpool win.
Next we have the Blues versus Sheffield United. I'm going to go with 3-0 to the Blues.
I've gone 4-0 Chelsea.
Next we have Crystal Palace versus Aston Villa. I've gone 2-1 Aston Villa. I do think, much like Aaron, I do think that Aston Villa will have a good season. They've got a very good squad.
I'm going with a 1-0 Crystal Palace win.
Everton versus Wolves, potential to be a very good game. Anyone playing Wolves, really. I've gone with a Desmond 2-2, so I don't know what to count with that really. Desmond 2-2 Brownie on the game before.
I've gone high scoring. I've gone with a 3-3 draw.
Leicester versus Bournemouth. It'll be a 2-0 Leicester.
I've gone with the same thing.
Manchester City versus the Hove of Albions. What are you saying?
I've gone with a 3-0 Man City victory.
I've gone with a 4-1 Manchester City victory. Newcastle are taking on Watford. I think it will be 2-1 to Watford. I do not see Newcastle picking up any 3 points for a while. Unless it's a game where they might get fluke win. Because they're in such a weird state at the moment where they could have a manager and then hit the ground running. Which I
don't see anything happening. You've got Mike Ashley in charge.
But they've got. It'd be interesting to see what they do with the £30 million that they got for Harris.
Mike Ashley, he'll do fuck all. They put it towards Sports Direct bags.
Nah, go to fucking Greg's stunk.
Yeah, I've gone with a 2-0 Watford.
Manchester United versus Southampton. I've gone with a 3-1 Manchester United win.
I've gone for a 2-1 Manchester United win.
And finally, for game week 4, we have West Ham taking on Green. I think it will be 2-1 to West Ham.
I've gone 3-0 West Ham. Game week 5 starts with Bournemouth versus Everton, and I've gone with a Desmond 2-2.
Well, we're thinking quite alike. I've also gone with the Desmond 2-2.
Aston Villa versus West Ham.
The Claret and Blue Dog!
Oh, where am I rolling? I've gone with 2-1 to the team in Claret and Blue. Which is Aston Villa in this case, because West Ham are being their away kit.
I also think Claret and Blue.
Brighton versus Burnley. Liverpool versus Newcastle. I've gone 3-0 Liverpool.
I think it'll be 2-0. It was quite a good game last season. Was it the last game that they had? I don't know.
3-2, second to last.
Yeah, it was a good game. I watched that.
Man United versus Leicester. I've gone with a 1-1 draw.
One with a 3-2 Manchester United win. I do think Leicester will be a dark horse.
Close cards. It's between them and Everton for me. And Wolves.
Snap.
Norwich versus Man City. I've gone 2-0 Man City.
Gone with 4-0 Manchester City.
Sheffield United versus Southampton. I've gone 1-0.
Gone with 2-1 for Southampton.
Tottenham versus Crystal Palace. I've gone 3-0 Tottenham.
2-0 Tottenham.
Watford versus Arsenal. I've gone 2-1 Arsenal.
3-1 Arsenal. Cahoonies!
And Wolves versus Chelsea. I've gone 2-1 Wolverhampton Wanderers.
I can see why you put that. Wolves are a good team. I've gone with a Desmond 2-2. Game week 6. Arsenal versus Aston Villa.
I've gone 3-0 Arsenal.
Arsenal 2. Aston Villa. Burnley versus Norwich City.
0-0.
Burnley 1. Norwich City 1. Chelsea versus Liverpool. Big game. I've gone with 2-1 Liverpool.
I've gone 3-1 Liverpool.
Crystal Palace versus Wolverhampton Wanderers. I've gone with 2-1 Wolverhampton Wanderers.
I've gone 1-0.
The Jackie Elka derby.
I've gone 2-0 to Everton.
I've gone 1-0.
Why?
Why?
Phil Jagielka's going to know his
Yeah, mate,
teammates.
should be a 90th minute header. Leicester versus Tottenham. I've gone with 2-1 Tottenham.
I've gone 1-0. Forest Green fans doing the business.
Weird.
This is always a tough game for us.
4-0 Manchester City. It was a bit embarrassing the last time Manchester City and Watford come up against each other. I think the less said about that the better. But I don't think it'll get a little bit, the score will go down by 2. But I still think they'll concede 4 goals.
3-0 Man City.
Newcastle versus Brighton, I think it'll be a 4-1 draw.
Well, I've gone 2-1 Newcastle. Well done. You got your first points, I believe.
Southampton versus Bournemouth.
1-0.
2-1 Bournemouth. Is that Derby?
Yes, it is.
And finally for game week 6, Manchester United versus Ham United. I've gone with 3-0, 3-1 to Manchester United.
And I've gone with a Desmond 2-2. Game week 7 starts off with Bournemouth versus West Ham. I've gone with a Desmond 2-2.
I've gone with 2-0 to West Ham.
Aston Villa versus Burnley. Another Claret and Blue derby. I'm going 3-1 to the team in Claret and Blue. Aston Villa.
I've gone with 2-0 to the team in Claret and Blue.
Chelsea versus Brighton. I've gone 3-0 Chelsea. Crystal Palace versus Norwich. I've gone 1-0 Crystal Palace.
I've also gone with a 1-0 Crystal Palace.
Everton versus Man City. I'm going to let you go first too.
2-1 to Manchester City.
I've gone 2-1 to the Toffees.
Oh, are you saying that they're going to lose a game? Please explain yourself, young sir.
At Goodison Park, Everton gave Man City a game last season. I think they have a good team. I think they're in the running to break into the top 6 along with Leicester and Wolves. And yeah, I just think Man City have struggled. Leicester versus Newcastle. I've gone 2-0 Leicester. Man United versus Arsenal. I've gone with 2-1 Man United.
Desmond Tutu!
Oh my god, it's fucking a miracle. I thought he was like, something was wrong with you then, 'cause you didn't go in one for a while. The Phil Jagielka anti-derby, Sheffield United versus Liverpool. I've gone with a 4-0 Liverpool win.
I've gone 4-1 Liverpool.
Tottenham versus Southampton. I've gone 3-1 Tottenham.
I've gone with the same thing.
And Wolves versus Watford. Take it away.
Desmond Tutu.
I agree.
Game week, I don't know, 8. Arsenal versus Bournemouth. I've gone with 3-1 to Arsenal.
I've gone with 3-0 Arsenal.
Next we have Brighton and Hove Albion versus Tottenham Hotspurs. I've gone with 2-0 to the Hotspurs.
I've gone 3-1 Tottenham.
Burnley versus Everton. I've gone with 2-1 to Everton.
I've gone with a 1-0. You just beat Man City, but you narrowly avoid defeat to Burnley.
Next up, we have a potentially tasty game. Brendan Rodgers facing one of his former clubs, but I don't see them winning. I see it being 4-2 to Liverpool.
I've gone a bit more realistic, 2-0 Liverpool.
Next up, we have a potential banana skin in Manchester City playing Wolverhampton Wanderers. I have gone with a Desmond Tutu. You've had fucking them losing to.
Yeah, but this is at home.
Yeah, but Wolves are a fucking fantastic side, and you can't say Wolves come up against any side. You can't say they're definitely 100% going to lose that game, or they're not going to 100% whip it out of the bag and beat them because they're such a good squad.
I have gone with 2-0 Man City.
Next we have Newcastle at home to Manchester United. I say 2-1 to Manchester United.
I say the exact same thing.
Next is Norwich versus Aston Villa. 1-1.
2-1 Aston Villa.
Southampton taking on Chelsea. I think it'll be 3-1 to Lampard's armpit.
I've gone with the exact same thing.
Watford versus Sheffield United. I think it'll be 2-0 to Watford.
I've gone with the exact same thing.
And the final game of game week 8 is West Ham United versus Crystal Palace.
West Ham are winning 2-0 at the London Stadium.
2-1 to West Ham.
Game week 9, Bournemouth versus Norwich. I've gone with an upset, 2-1 Norwich.
I've gone with 2-1 Bournemouth.
Aston Villa Brighton, 2-0 Aston Villa.
Desmond 2-2.
Chelsea versus Newcastle, 3-0 Chelsea.
4-1 Chelsea.
Crystal Palace versus Man City, what have you gone with?
Oh, you're saying this first, which makes me think you've gone with an upset. But I'm going with 2-1 to Pep Guardiola's eyebrows.
I'm going 1-0 to Pep Guardiola's eyebrows. Everton versus West Ham. Everton versus West Ham. It has potential to be a cracking game. And I've gone with a 2-0 Everton win.
I've gone with a 3-2 West Ham win.
Leicester versus Burnley. I've gone 2-1 Leicester.
I've gone 2-1 Leicester as well.
Manchester United versus Liverpool. What have you gone with?
See, it's a derby game. But Liverpool are by far the better side. Manchester United have got a lot of turnaround to do before they can be on the levels that Liverpool are on right now, which is challenging for titles and doing well in Europe. So I've gone with, on that note, 3-1 to Liverpool.
I've gone with a Desmond 2-2. Sheffield United versus Arsenal. I've gone 2-0 Arsenal.
I've also gone with 2-0 Arsenal.
Tottenham versus Watford. I've gone 2-0 Tottenham. Wolves versus Southampton. I've gone 2-0 Wolves.
I've gone with 3-1 Wolves. Game week 10, Kicks off with Arsenal versus Crystal Palace. What have you got?
3-1 Arsenal.
I've gone with 2-1 Arsenal. Next we have Brighton versus Everton. I've gone with a 4-1 draw.
I've gone with the exact same thing.
Burnley at home to Chelsea. I've gone with 1-0 Chelsea.
I've gone 2-0 Chelsea.
Liverpool versus Tottenham. Two shit clubs, you know. Really lucky to be in the Premier League.
Yeah, lucky to be in the Premier League, let alone the Champions League final.
Yeah, no. It might as well be the League Champions final with the quality of the two clubs. You know, I don't see how Mohamed Salah, you know, deserves to be in the Premier League. But you know, I've just farted out everything. I think 3-1 to the Liverpool one. You know, like a shit club.
Yeah, these small clubs. But, you know, we like playing Liverpool. Tottenham
Sorry!
like playing Liverpool at Anfield. They like playing Liverpool at Anfield. They've been unlucky the last couple of times they've gone there. But I think they're just going to come up short again. And I've gone with a 3-2 Liverpool win.
Manchester City at home to Aston Villa. I've gone with a 2-1 Manchester City win.
I've gone slightly similar. I've gone 4-0 Manchester City.
Newcastle versus Wolves. As much as I said you can't look at every game and think that Wolves aren't going to win it, I've gone with a 1-1 draw.
Yeah, I've gone 2-0 Wolves.
Where are you? Versus Manchester United. I've gone with a 3-1 Manchester United win.
That was good. I've gone 2-1 Man United.
Southampton Leicester.
Leicester.
Yeah, you might as well put another tick on the list now. There's 1-2-2.
1-0.
Watford versus Bournemouth. I've gone with 3-1 Bournemouth win.
I've gone 2-1 Watford.
Finally, game week 10, West Ham United versus Sheffield United.
1-0.
2-1 to United. I'll leave you to decide what one I've come for. Not that you'll be able to see the screenshot or anything, but you know. That's it for game week 10!
Right, so this has been filmed on a different day, but it's the same video. Yeah, wouldn't guess that. Now on to game week 11, Bournemouth versus Man United. What have you gone with?
I've gone with 2-1 to Manchester United.
I've gone 2-1 Bournemouth. 2-1 Bournemouth.
Against
Seems like one of
Manchester
them. Yeah. It just seems like one of them tricky games that a big team would struggle.
Okay.
Arsenal versus Wolves. Yeah, what have you gone with?
I've gone with 3-2 to Wolves.
I'm not alone. I've gone 2-1 Wolves.
Yeah, it's Wolves are good against the big teams.
And they got a draw out of Marshall.
Yeah.
Aston Villa versus Liverpool. I've gone 2-0 Liverpool.
I've gone with 3-1 Liverpool.
Brighton versus Norwich. Crystal Palace versus Leicester. I've gone 1-0 Leicester.
I've gone with 3-1 Leicester.
Everton versus Tottenham. I've gone 3-2 Tottenham.
Oh, I've gone with the same result. 3-2 Tottenham.
Man City versus Southampton. I've gone 2-0 Man City.
I've gone with the same. 2-0 Man City.
Sheffield United versus Burnley. I've gone with a 1-0.
Watford versus Chelsea.
Watford versus Chelsea. I've gone 2-1 Chelsea.
I've gone with 2-1 Chelsea as well.
And West Ham versus Newcastle. I've gone 2-0 West Ham.
I've gone with 3-1 West Ham.
Oof.
Game week 12 it starts with Burnley at home to West Ham. I've gone with 4-1 West Ham.
4-1 West Ham.
I reckon Burnley are going to struggle.
1-0.
But West Ham are a big club, mate.
Yeah, and their stadium, you know, the amount of action is going to be there with them extra 2,500 seats, you know. I mean, like, I think that a woman's cucumber gets more action than in prison.
Chelsea versus Crystal Palace. I've gone with 2-1 to Chelsea.
I've gone 2-0 Chelsea.
Leicester versus Arsenal. I've gone with a dead 1-2-2.
I've gone with the draw, but 0-0.
On to one of the biggest games of the season. The two title contenders in a lot of people's eyes. Liverpool versus Man. Well, in a lot of most people's fucking eyes. If you don't, then you fucking think fucking Southampton are going to win the league like Trey Adams. You're fucking
Yeah, and
smashed.
West Ham, mate.
Yeah, and West Ham, sorry about that. Manchester City, Liverpool, Manchester City. I'll go to you first, what you think it's going to be.
I've gone with a very high scoring result. I've gone with a 4-4.
Ooh, it has the potential to be flipping
Something high, yeah.
15-15. No, with the attacking players that these teams have got, obviously, I'm not saying it will be 15, but it'll be a high scoring game nonetheless. I actually think there will be a winner. I've also gone high scoring. 9 goals in total, I think they'll be scored. I think 5 of them will be to Liverpool and 4 of them will be to Manchester City. We've got 4.
I wouldn't guess that, would you?
Next we have Manchester United versus Brighton. What a game! You go from Liverpool versus Manchester City to fucking Manchester United versus Brighton.
To a relegation 6-pointer.
I think it's going to be 2-1 to Manchester United.
I've gone 2-0 Man United.
Next, Newcastle versus Bournemouth. I've gone with 2-0 to Bournemouth.
See, Newcastle fans, I'm quite nice. I'm going with a 1-0 victory.
Norwich versus Watford. Southampton versus Everton. 3-1 Everton.
2-1 Everton.
Tottenham versus Sheffield United. I've gone with 2-0 to Tottenham.
I've gone 2-0 Tottenham as well.
And finally for game week 12, Wolves versus Aston Villa. I've gone with 2-1 to Wolves.
The Midlands derby. Who's it in a draw?
It's a derby.
Yes, it is. Game week 13 starts with Bournemouth versus Wolves, and I've gone 2-1 Wolves.
I've gone 3-1 Wolves.
Arsenal versus Southampton, I've gone 2-0 Arsenal.
Gone 2-0 Arsenal as well.
Aston Villa versus Newcastle, or have you gone with?
2-0 Aston Villa.
I've gone 2-0 Aston Villa as well. What a
Fight.
brother. Oh, nice to know, mate. I'm Aaron. Brighton versus Leicester, 2-1 Leicester.
I've also gone with 2-1 Leicester. So is that 3 on the trot?
3 on the trot, yeah. Crystal Palace versus Liverpool,
3-0 Liverpool.
3-0 Liverpool.
Hey!
Everton Norwich,
2-0 Everton.
2-0 Everton.
Hey, yo!
Man City versus Chelsea,
2-1 Manchester City.
3-1 Man City.
The streak is over.
Sheffield United versus Man United, 1-0.
1-0 to Manchester United. I think it's going to be a tough game.
Yeah, another tough game, yeah. Watford Burnley, 2-0 Watford.
0-0.
And West Ham Tottenham, the Pikeys are losing their cup final, 2-0 Tottenham.
Pikeys are winning their cup final 3-1. They always win against you, let's be fair. They always win against you once.
Nah,
Whether it be Carabao Cup or the Premier League. Or...
nah. They beat the under-18s team, that's about it, I reckon.
I reckon they'll win their cup final. Game week 14 starts with Burnley versus Crystal Palace. What are you gone with?
1-0.
We've gone with 2-0 for Crystal Palace. Next we have Chelsea taking on West Ham. I've gone with 3-2 to Chelsea.
I've gone with a Desmond 2-2.
You might as well add another one because Leicester versus Everton I think is going to be a Desmond 2-2.
I've gone 2-1 Leicester. This has potential to be a cracking game as well.
Next Liverpool taking on Brighton. I think it'll be 2-0 to Liverpool. What do you think?
3-0 Liverpool.
Manchester United taking on Aston Villa. I think it'll be 3-1 to Manchester United.
2-1 Man United.
Newcastle taking on Manchester City. I think 3-0 to Manchester City.
I've gone 4-1 Man City.
And next we have Norwich taking on Arsenal. I think it'll be 2-0 to Blood.
2-0 Arsenal.
Southampton versus Watford. I think will be 2-1 to Southampton.
I've gone 2-1 Watford.
Tottenham versus Bournemouth. A lot of drama in last year's away fixture. Tottenham went down at 9 men. But I think you'll win 1-0.
Oh, well, normally when we play them at the home ground, whether it be Wembley or White Hart Lane or the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, we normally win big, so I'm going 4-1 Tottenham.
finally, for game week 14, we have Wolves taking on United's of Park. Don't know where Park come from, but we roll with it. I'm going with 1-1.
I'm going 2-0 Wolverhampton Wanderers Bolton. Game week 15 starts with Arsenal versus Brighton. I've gone 2-0 Arsenal.
2-1 Arsenal.
Burnley versus Man City. I've gone 2-0 Man City.
I've gone 4-1 Manchester City.
Leicester versus Watford.
Gone 3-1 Leicester.
1-0 Leicester. Sheffield United versus Newcastle. 1-0.
2-1 to Sheffield United.
Wolves versus West Ham. I've gone with a Desmond 2-2.
Gone with a 2-1 to Wolves.
And Man United versus Tottenham. 2-1 Man United.
Desmond 2-2.
I think that because we've had our win last year at Old Trafford, and now, yeah, it's just a typical game for us to lose and being a midweek fixture. Chelsea versus Aston Villa. I've gone 3-0 Chelsea.
I've gone with 2-1 Chelsea.
Southampton Norwich. Crystal Palace versus Bournemouth. I've gone with 1-0 Bournemouth.
I've gone with a 0-0, so it doesn't matter.
Ah. And the Merseyside derby. I've gone with a big O. Nil.
I've gone with 3-1 Liverpool. Game week 16 starts with Bournemouth versus Liverpool. I've gone with 3-1 to Liverpool.
2-0 Liverpool.
Aston Villa versus Leicester. I've gone with 2-0 Leicester.
2-1 Aston Villa.
Brighton versus Wolves. I've gone with 3-1 to Wolves.
2-1 Wolves.
Everton versus Chelsea. I've gone with a Desmond 2-2.
2-1 Everton.
Oh.
Couple of good back-to-back results against Big Six teams.
The Manchester derby. I've gone with 3-1 to Manchester City. Manchester United can't pose a threat against Manchester City.
Top team.
They're not a top team. They've got a hell of a lot of rebuilding to do.
Yeah, for the same reason as Philip, I've gone 4-1 Man City.
Newcastle versus Southampton. Norwich versus Sheffield United. Tottenham versus Burnley. I've gone with 2-0 Burnley.
What?
What? 2-0 Tottenham.
I've gone 3-1 Tottenham.
Watford Crystal Palace. I've gone with a 1-0.
1-0 Watford.
And finally, West Ham versus Arsenal. I've gone with 2-1 to Arsenal.
2-0 Arsenal. Game week 17 starts with, starts with Arsenal versus Man City, and I've gone 3-1 Man City.
I've gone with a bit of an out there result. I think a lot of teams now starting to get
sussing
with
out
the way that Manchester City like to play, and they still have the same players, and as good as the players are, you can figure out a player. And then they've had he's had mostly the same squad for about 3 seasons.
Yeah.
So the other teams are going to start to suss out the way that the players play, and unless obviously they completely change their tactics going into next season. But I think that Manchester City will be caught out on a few occasions, and I think this is one of the occasions where they will be caught out, and I think they will lose 3-2 to Arsenal.
Burnley Newcastle. You thought I was going to do it.
To Burnley. They just signed Jay Rodriguez.
Yeah, they have.
Which is going to potentially, because he couldn't really gut it in the Premier League. He could score goals, but not prolifically.
Chelsea
They
Bournemouth.
released Peter Crouch by Jay Rodriguez.
Chelsea Bournemouth. I've gone 2-0 Chelsea.
I've also gone with 2-0 Chelsea.
The M4 derby. I've gone 2-1 Brighton.
I've gone with, this the derby? The M4 derby? The M5 derby?
M4
derby. I've gone with 2-0 to Crystal Palace.
Leicester Norwich. 3-1 Leicester. Liverpool versus Watford. 3-0 Liverpool.
2-1 Liverpool.
Man United versus Everton. 2-0 Man United.
4-2 Manchester United.
Sheffield United Aston Villa. 1-0 Aston Villa.
3-1 Aston Villa.
Southampton West Ham. 1-0.
2-2.
Wolves versus Tottenham. I'll come to you first.
Desmond 2-2. They played fantastically at Wembley last year.
Yeah, that's
I
why
know
they've
it's away.
gone.
I know it's home.
At Wembley. At Wembley that was. But when we played them at Molineux, we took an early advantage, and then Dembele went off injured, and they came back. They still lost, but they got 2 goals back. Should have drawn that game, but this time round I think we're going to lose. Just being realistic, 2-1 Wolves, because they're fantastic at the moment.
A Tottenham fan being fair for once, I'm shocked. For game week 18, the first game is Bournemouth versus Burnley. I think it'll be 2-1 Bournemouth.
I've gone 2-1 Bournemouth as well.
Aston Villa versus Southampton. I think 3-1 Aston Villa.
I also think 3-1 Aston Villa.
Brighton versus Sheffield United. I think it's going to be 1-0 to Brighton.
0-0.
Everton versus Arsenal. I think it'll be 2-0 to Arsenal.
2-1 Arsenal.
Potentially tasty fixture, Manchester City versus Leicester. Oh, I think it'll be 4-2 to Manchester City.
1-0 Man City.
Newcastle versus Crystal Palace. I think it'll be 3-1 to Crystal Palace.
I've gone 2-1 Newcastle.
Norwich versus Wolves. I think will be 4-1 to Wolves.
I've gone with a surprise 2-1 Norwich win. Christmas period.
Tottenham versus Chelsea. Watford versus Manchester United. Yeah, for Tottenham versus Chelsea. Tottenham love a game against Chelsea. So I think it'd be 4-2 to Chelsea. Tottenham.
I've gone 2-1 Tottenham.
Watford versus Manchester United. I think will be 3-0 to Manchester United.
2-0 Man United.
And finally, for game week 18, we have West Ham taking on Liverpool, which I see being a 2-1 win to Liverpool.
I've also gone with a 2-1 win to Liverpool. Now the Boxing Day fixtures starts with Bournemouth versus Arsenal, a tasty fixture I think every year. I've gone with 3-2 Arsenal.
Yeah, I've gone with 2-0 Arsenal.
Aston Villa versus Norwich. I've gone with 2-0 Aston Villa.
I've gone with 2-1 Aston Villa.
Chelsea Southampton. I've gone 3-0 Chelsea.
I've gone 4-1 Chelsea.
Crystal Palace versus West Ham. I've gone 2-1 Crystal Palace.
I've gone with 2-1 to Crystal Palace.
Everton versus Burnley. I've gone 4-0 Everton.
I've gone 4-1 Everton.
Leicester versus Liverpool. You can add another one to the counter because I've gone with a Desmond 2-2.
I've gone with a 1-0.
Man United versus Newcastle.
I've gone with 2-0 to Manchester United.
I've also gone 2-0 United. Sheffield United versus Watford. I've gone 1-0 Watford.
I've gone with a 1-0.
Tottenham Brighton. 3-0 Tottenham.
2-1.
And Wolves Man City. I've gone 1-0 Man City.
I've gone with the same thing. Game week 20, Arsenal versus Chelsea. I've gone with the Desmond 2-2.
And I've gone 3-2 Chelsea.
Brighton versus Bournemouth. I think will be 2-1 to Bournemouth.
1-0 Bournemouth.
Burnley versus Manchester United. I think it's going to be 3-1 to Manchester United.
2-0 Man United.
Liverpool versus Wolves. I don't need to say that that's going to be a tasty game, but that's going to be a tasty game.
No, it ain't.
And I think it's going to be a 2-all.
Oh, I've gone 2... Fuck off. I've gone 2-0 Liverpool.
Manchester City versus Sheffield United. I'm sorry for my Sheffield United fans, but it's going to be a quick lesson.
But like I said with
Quick
Cardiff
bend
last
down,
year,
yeah, a quick bend down, and you're going to get a beating. I think 4-0.
I've gone 3-0 Man City.
Newcastle versus Everton. I think it's going to be 2-0 to Everton.
I've also gone 2-0 Everton.
Norwich versus Tottenham. I've gone with 3-0 to Tottenham.
I've also gone 3-0 Tottenham.
Fucking Canary arses are going to get fucking... That's
I
like...
fucking love that fixture.
That's like being fucked on your own toilets. Southampton versus Crystal Palace. I think it's going to be 1-0 to Crystal Palace.
I've gone 1-0.
Watford versus Aston Villa. I think it's 3-1 to Aston Villa.
I've gone 1-0 again.
And finally, West Ham versus Leicester. I think we'll do 1-0.
Put another one on the counter because it's 2-2. Game week 21 starts with Arsenal versus Man United. And I've gone 2-0 Arsenal.
You see, I said something about Manchester City being found out, and I put Arsenal as the way that they were going to get found out. Manchester United, we don't have to explain that they're not the best at the moment. But neither are Arsenal. But if you ask me who's in the better situation, I would say Arsenal. I think it'll be 3-2 to Arsenal.
Brighton versus Chelsea, 2-0 Chelsea.
2-0 Chelsea.
Burnley versus Aston Villa, I've gone 1-0 Aston Villa.
I've gone with 2-1 Aston Villa.
When the Sheffield United fans thought they was just escaping narrowly with a slight beating at the Etihad, they go to Anfield. Liverpool versus Sheffield United, 4-0 Liverpool.
So I've gone with a little less embarrassing. I've gone 3-1.
At least they get a goal. Man City versus Everton, tasty game, but 2-0 Manchester City.
4-2 Manchester City.
Newcastle Leicester, 2-0 Leicester.
2-0 Leicester.
Norwich Crystal Palace. Southampton versus Tottenham, 3-1 Tottenham.
3-1 Tottenham.
Watford Wolves, 1-0 Wolves.
1-0.
West Ham Bournemouth, 2-0 West Ham.
2-1 Leicester. Game week 22. Bournemouth versus Watford. I think it will be a 2-1 away win to Watford.
I've gone with a 2-1 home win to the Cherries.
Aston Villa versus Manchester City. I think it was 3-0 to Manchester City.
I've gone with a tight game, 2-1 Man City.
Chelsea versus Burnley. A game where I could see Chelsea struggling and getting a narrow 1-0 win.
3-0 Chelsea.
Crystal Palace versus Arsenal. 2-1 Arsenal.
Now there comes a time where Arsenal need the embarrassing result every year. And the dip. This is the time. 3-1 Crystal Palace.
Everton versus Brighton. I think will be 4-2 to Everton.
I've gone 3-0 Everton.
Leicester versus Southampton. I've gone with 2-1 to Leicester.
2-0 Leicester.
Manchester United versus Norwich. I've gone with 3-1 to Manchester United.
I've also gone 3-1 Man United.
Sheffield United versus West Ham. I've gone with a 0-0.
2-1 West Ham.
Tottenham versus Liverpool. I've gone with a 2-1 Liverpool.
Same.
Finally, Wolves versus Newcastle. I've gone with 2-1 to Wolves.
3-0 Wolves. Fucking hell. Sheffield United back with another hard game away from home against Arsenal at the start of game week 23. I'm going 4-0 Arsenal. Sorry lads.
I've gone with 3-1.
Brighton Aston Villa, 1-0 Brighton.
1-0 Aston Villa.
Burnley Leicester, 2-0 Leicester.
2-1 Leicester.
Liverpool Man United, what did you go with?
So I'm going with 2-1 Liverpool.
I'll go 3-1 Liverpool. Man City versus Crystal Palace, 3-0 Man City.
2-1 Manchester City.
Newcastle versus Chelsea, 2-1 Chelsea.
2-1 Chelsea.
Norwich Bournemouth, what have you gone with?
1-0.
2-0 Norwich. Well done, congratulations. Southampton versus Wolves, I've gone 1-0.
I've gone with 2-1 Wolves.
Watford versus Tottenham, a game that we lost last year. But this time, they're coming back. Troy Deeney's cojones are being chopped off. 2-1 Tottenham.
I've gone with 3-1 Tottenham.
West Ham Everton, 1-0.
2-1 Everton. Game week 24. Bournemouth versus Brighton. I've gone with 2-1 Bournemouth.
2-0 Bournemouth.
Aston Villa versus Watford. I've gone with a Desmond Tutu.
2-1 Aston Villa.
Versus Newcastle. I've gone with 2-1 to Everton.
2-0 Everton.
Leicester versus West Ham. I've gone with 3-2 Leicester.
I've gone 2-1 West Ham.
Sheffield United, they're going to be at the hands of another spunking by Manchester City, but I think they get a goal this time. But I don't think Manchester City will score 5. What do you think?
3-0 Man City.
Wolves versus Liverpool, I think will be 3-1 Liverpool.
I've gone with the Desmond Tutu.
Manchester United versus Burnley, I think will be 2-0 Manchester United.
I've gone with the exact same thing.
Chelsea versus Arsenal, 2-1 to Arsenal.
I've gone 2-1 Chelsea, doing a double over.
Tottenham versus Norwich, I think will be 3-0 Tottenham.
4-0 Tottenham.
And finally, for game week 24, we have Crystal Palace taking on Southampton, which I think will be 2-1 to Crystal Palace.
1-0. Game week 25 starts with Bournemouth versus Aston Villa. I've gone 2-1 Aston Villa.
I've gone with 2-1 Aston Villa as well.
Burnley versus Arsenal. I've gone 2-0 Arsenal.
I've gone 3-1 Arsenal.
Crystal Palace versus Sheffield United. 1-0 Crystal Palace.
1-0 Sheffield United.
Leicester versus Chelsea. What did you go with?
I've gone with 2-1 Chelsea.
I've gone 2-0 Leicester. Tough game at King Power. Liverpool Southampton. 3-0 to the A team.
Yeah, I've also gone with that.
Man United versus Wolves. I've gone 2-1 to Wolves.
I've gone with the same result.
We're not deluded. Newcastle Norwich, quite possibly the most boring game on paper. 0-0.
1-0 to Norwich.
Tottenham Man City. I've gone 2-1 Tottenham.
I've gone 2-1 Tottenham.
Well, Champions League last season. Yeah. I've been realistic with this video. Watford Everton, 1-0.
2-2.
And West Ham Brighton, 2-0 West Ham.
3-1 West Ham. Game week 26 starts with Arsenal versus Newcastle, which I think will be 2-1 to Arsenal. 2-0.
3-0 Arsenal.
Aston Villa versus Tottenham, the Tim Shield derby. Go 3-1 Tottenham.
After that win against Man City, we're coming right back down to Tottenham's earth. 1-0.
Brighton versus Watford. I think we'll be 2-1 to Watford.
1-0 Watford.
Chelsea versus Manchester United. I think it'll be a 2-2.
Same.
Everton versus Crystal Palace. I think it'll be 2-1 to Everton.
2-0 Everton.
Manchester City versus West Ham. 3-1 to Manchester City.
3-0 Man City.
Norwich versus Liverpool. I've gone with 4-1 Liverpool.
I've gone 4-0 Liverpool.
Sheffield United versus Bournemouth.
Yeah, I'm going 1-0.
Southampton versus Burnley. I've gone 2-1 to Burnley.
1-0 again.
And finally, we have a very tasty game.
Game of
Wolves
season last year.
versus Leicester. And I think that'll be 2.
I've gone 3-3. Game week 27 starts with Arsenal versus Everton. And I've gone 2-0 Arsenal.
Gone with 2-2.
Burnley Bournemouth. 1-0 Burnley.
2-1 Bournemouth.
Chelsea Tottenham. 2-1 Tottenham.
3-1 Tottenham.
Crystal Palace versus Newcastle. 1-0.
2-0 Crystal Palace.
Leicester versus Man City. I've got 1-0 Man City.
I've gone 3-1 Manchester City.
Liverpool versus West Ham. 2-0 Liverpool.
3-2 Liverpool.
Man United Watford. 2-0 Man United.
2-1 Manchester United.
Sheffield United versus Brighton and Hove Albion. The 2-on-1 handicap match. 0-0.
1-0.
Southampton Aston Villa. 1-0 Aston Villa.
2-1 Aston Villa.
Wolves Norwich. 3-0 Wolves.
1-0 to Norwich.
Really?
Yeah. Game week 28. Bournemouth versus Chelsea. I'm saying 2-1 Chelsea.
I've gone 2-0 Bournemouth.
Interesting.
They did win 4-0 last year.
Yeah, but that was a dark time for Chelsea. Coming towards sorry.
It's going to be dark again.
Aston Villa versus Sheffield United. I've gone with a 1-0.
2-0 Aston Villa.
Brighton versus Crystal Palace at derby. I've gone with 2-1 Crystal Palace.
1-0 Crystal Palace.
Everton versus Manchester United. I've gone with 3-2 Manchester United win.
I've also gone 3-2, but to Everton.
I can see why you put Manchester City versus Arsenal. The game I said Arsenal were going to win last time, but I don't see it being the same this time. I'm saying 2-1 to Manchester City. What are you saying?
3-1 Man City.
Newcastle versus Burnley. I'm going with 2-1 Newcastle win.
1-0 Burnley.
Norwich versus Leicester. I've gone with 2-1 to Leicester.
I've gone 1-0.
Tottenham versus Wolves. I've gone with Desmond Tutu.
2-1 Tottenham.
Watford versus Liverpool. I've gone with a 2-1 Liverpool.
3-1 Liverpool.
And finally West Ham versus Southampton. I've gone with 1-0.
2-0 West Ham. Game week 29. Arsenal versus West Ham. I've gone 3-0 Arsenal.
2-1 Arsenal.
Burnley Tottenham. 2-0 Tottenham.
3-1 Tottenham.
Chelsea Everton. 2-0 Chelsea.
3-2 Everton.
Crystal Palace Watford. 2-1 Watford. I can
2-2.
see why you put that. Leicester Aston Villa. Desmond 2-2.
2-1 Leicester.
Liverpool Bournemouth. 4-0 Liverpool.
3-1 Liverpool.
The Manchester derby at Old Trafford this time, but I don't see it changing. 4-2 Man City.
2-1 Manchester City. I think it'll be closer, but I don't think Manchester United have enough.
Sheffield United Norwich. 1-0 Sheffield United.
0-0.
Southampton Newcastle. 1-0 Southampton.
2-1 Newcastle.
And Wolves Brighton 1-0.
2-1 Wolves. Game week 30 now. Bournemouth versus Crystal Palace. I think will be 3-1 to Crystal Palace.
2-1 Crystal Palace.
Aston Villa versus Chelsea. I think will be 3-1 Chelsea.
1-0 Chelsea.
Brighton versus Arsenal. I think will be 2-1 to Arsenal.
3-1 Arsenal.
Merseyside derby. Everton at home. And as I said previously in the video, I think that Everton turn up at when the Merseyside derby. You'd expect that, but yeah. But I've gone with a 2.
I've gone 0-0. 2-0 nils this season for the Merseyside derby.
Manchester City versus Burnley. I've gone 2-1 to Manchester City.
3-0 Man City.
Newcastle versus Sheffield United. 1-0 Sheffield United.
1-0 Newcastle.
Norwich versus Southampton. It's going to be a ball in all.
1-0.
Tottenham versus Manchester United. I've gone with 2-1 Tottenham.
3-0 Tottenham.
3-0. You're saying they're not
Yes.
to score. Very interesting.
No, they're not.
I like to
Fuck
see
you.
what Manchester United fans think. So if there's a single Manchester United fan watching this out there, please comment what you think. Watford versus Leicester. I think 2-1 Leicester.
1-0.
And finally, Wolves versus West Ham, battle with the W's. I think 2-1 to the W side.
Desmond
2 W's
2-2.
in there.
Game week 31. Burnley versus Watford. I'm going 1-0 Watford. Chelsea versus Man City. I'm going 2-1 Chelsea.
I can see why I put that last year. They got vengeance at home.
Yeah.
But I've gone with 2-1 in the opposite direction.
Leicester Brighton. 3-1 Leicester.
2-1 Leicester.
Liverpool Crystal Palace. 4-1 Liverpool.
3-1 Liverpool.
Man United Sheffield United. 2-0 Man United.
2-0 to the United side. 2-0 to the United side.
Newcastle Aston Villa. 2-0 Villa.
1-0 Newcastle.
Norwich Everton. 1-0 Everton.
1-0 Everton.
Southampton Arsenal. 2-1 Arsenal.
2-1 Arsenal.
Tottenham West Ham. Fuck you West Ham. 3-0 Tottenham.
2-1 Tottenham.
Wolves Bournemouth. 2-0 Bournemouth.
Desmond 2-2. Game week 32 now. Bournemouth playing Newcastle. I think it'll be 2-1 to Bournemouth.
I've gone 2-0 Newcastle.
Arsenal versus Norwich. I think it'll be 3-0 to Arsenal.
4-0 Arsenal.
Aston Villa versus Wolves. I think it'll be a 2-1 Wolves.
2-1 Aston Villa.
Brighton versus Manchester United. I think it'll be 2-0 Manchester United.
1-0 Man United.
Crystal Palace versus Burnley. I think it'll be a 0-0 draw.
1-0.
Everton versus Leicester. I think. I don't know. Most of you think I'm going to put. What do you think I'm going to put? 2-2.
I'm also going with it. Smondes 2-2.
Could decide the title of this game. Could. I have.
Should.
We
Should in most
as
predictions.
I've said, it's not going to be easy for the two teams this year. And I have put them to draw a couple of games. I've put them to lose against each other off, and I think I've put them to lose a couple of other games. Manchester City, I think, will lose more than Liverpool. But I think Manchester City will win this game, and I think I'll win 4-2.
I've also gone with a Man City win, but 2-1 Man City.
Sheffield United versus Tottenham, I've gone with a 1-1 draw. Why? It's a potential. It's one of those games. You always have a game, like a couple of games a season where you just, the confidence just goes from about here to here. It looks like Pochettino's fucking lost it all. It could maybe because of your fixtures that you play. You play too many fixtures. Maybe if you go, depending on Champions League and things like that. But yeah,
That'll
I
be
think
quarterfinals by
it'll
then.
be
2-0 Tottenham.
Watford versus Southampton. I think it'll be 3-1 Southampton.
2-1 Southampton.
And finally, we have Chelsea going up against West Ham. West Ham at home. I've gone with 3-0 Chelsea.
2-1 West Ham. Game week 33. Burnley versus Sheffield United. 0-0.
2-0 to Sheffield United.
Chelsea versus Watford. I'm going with a surprise 1-1 draw.
I'm going with 2-0 Chelsea.
Leicester Crystal Palace. 2-0 Leicester.
1-0 Leicester.
Liverpool Aston Villa. I'm going with 3-1 Liverpool.
2-1 Liverpool.
Man United Bournemouth. 2-0 Man United.
3-1 Bournemouth.
What?
Liverpool, Manchester United. 3-1 Manchester United.
Newcastle West Ham. 1-0 West Ham.
3-1 West Ham.
Norwich Brighton, 1-0 Norwich.
2-0 Brighton.
That game's going to be. Southampton Man City, 3-0 Man City.
2-1 Man City.
Tottenham Everton, 2-0 Tottenham.
2-1 Tottenham.
And Wolves Arsenal, 2-1 Wolves.
3-2. Game week 34 now, and I'm going to try and do it in this voice throughout the whole thing. We'll add some space to the video if you're still watching. Bournemouth versus Tottenham. I'm going at 2-1 Tottenham.
1-0 Tottenham.
Arsenal versus Leicester City. I think it's going to be 3-1 to Leicester. To Arsenal.
I've gone 2-1 to the champions of the 2015-16 season.
Aston Villa versus
Because
Manchester
you didn't
United. I've gone with board 1-1 draw.
I've gone 2-1 Aston Villa.
Brighton and Hove Albion versus Liverpool. I've gone with 2-1 to Liverpool. I don't know what I
2-0
did
Liverpool.
with the bit then, but you know. Crystal Palace versus Chelsea. I've gone with a 1-0 Chelsea win. Don't know what the
2-0
fuck this
Chelsea.
accent's meant to be. It's gone from Scottish to the bit of Liverpool to the bit of fucking Slade. Everton versus Southampton, so you've gone back to Scottish now. I've gone 2-0 Everton.
2-0 Everton.
Manchester City versus Newcastle United. I'm going with 1-0 to Manchester City.
I've gone with something similar, 5-0 Man City.
Sheffield United versus Wolverhampton Wanderers. I've gone 2-1 to Wolverhampton Wanderers.
1-0 Sheffield United.
Watford versus Norwich. I think it'll be a 1-1 draw.
2-0 Watford.
And fuck me, this has been a struggle. Finally, we got West Ham United
2-0
versus
Watford.
Burnley. And I think it'll be 2-1 to West Ham United.
1-0. Game week 35. Going into the back end of the league now. Bournemouth Leicester, 2-1 Bournemouth.
2-1 Leicester.
Aston Villa versus Crystal Palace, 2-0 Aston Villa.
3-1 Crystal Palace.
Brighton Man City, 2-0 Man City.
2-0 Manchester City as well.
Liverpool Burnley, 3-0 Liverpool.
2-0.
Man United versus Liverpool B team, 2-0 Man United.
3-1 Manchester United.
Norwich West Ham, 1-0 Norwich.
2-1 Norwich. 2-1 West Ham.
Sheffield United Chelsea, 2-0 Chelsea.
2-1 Chelsea.
The best fixture in the league, Tottenham Arsenal, 3-1 Tottenham. Watford Newcastle, 1-0.
1-0 to Newcastle.
Wolves Everton, Desmond 2-2.
He's my guy. Game week 36, Arsenal versus Liverpool. 3-2 to Liverpool.
3-1 Liverpool.
Burnley taking on Wolves. I think it'll be 2-1 to Wolves.
2-0 Wolves.
Chelsea taking on Norwich. I think it'll be 1-0 to Chelsea.
4-0 Chelsea.
Crystal Palace versus Manchester United. I think it'll be Manchester United 2, Crystal Palace 1.
2-1 Crystal Palace.
Everton versus Aston Villa. I've gone with 2-1 to Everton.
2-0 Everton.
Leicester versus Sheffield United. I've gone with 2-1 Leicester.
3-0 Leicester.
Manchester City versus Bournemouth. I've gone with 2-1 to Manchester City.
4-0 Man City.
Newcastle versus Tottenham. I've gone with 2-1 to Tottenham.
I've also gone 2-1 Spurs.
Southampton versus Brighton. I've gone with 2-1 to Southampton.
1-0.
And finally for game week 36, teams could be relegated. We could have already seen a league winner. We don't know. But I think it'll be 2-1.
1-0. Now, the penultimate game week. Bournemouth versus Southampton. I've gone 2-1 Southampton.
Gone 2-1 in the other direction. 2-1.
Aston Villa versus Arsenal. 1-0 Arsenal.
2-0.
Brighton Newcastle. Could be the fixture that sends Newcastle down, in my opinion, from what I've done. Could save Brighton. 1-0 Brighton.
Desmond 2-2. I've gone along the same lines, but I think it'll be a draw.
Liverpool versus Chelsea. I've gone 3-1 Liverpool.
1-0.
Could put a massive dent in title hopes. Man United West Ham. 2-0 Man United.
2-1 Manchester United.
Norwich Burnley. 1-0.
0-0.
Sheffield United versus Everton, the Phil Jagielka derby, 2.0, 1-0 Everton.
2-0 Everton.
Tottenham Leicester, 2-0 Tottenham.
2-1 Tottenham.
Watford Man City, 1-0 Man City.
3-1 Manchester City.
And Wolves versus Crystal Palace, 2-0 Wolves.
2-1 Wolves.
Now, onto the final game week.
Just before that, I want to do a prediction on who you think's got top 3.
Right.
And who do you think, or your top 3 or your top 6.
Top 6. Top
and
6.
who you think is going to get relegated. Please don't take offence if your team gets relegated. Shit happens. Fulham got relegated last year, so I know how it feels. I'll be able to comfort you.
Oh, we're going to do the bottom 3 first. 20th, 19th, 18th. 20th, I'm going to say 20th for me is Newcastle. Where are you?
I think it will be Norwich.
19th for me, yeah, I think it's Norwich.
I think it could be Burnley.
And 18th for me, yeah, I think it could be Burnley.
I think it's a toss-up in my head between Newcastle and Sheffield United, but I'm just gonna say Newcastle.
Top 6, so 6th for me. I know I've been a bit harsh on Man United, but I don't know if it's going to affect them. I know I've been quite lenient towards Everton, so 6th I'm going to go with Everton.
I'm going to go with Manchester United.
5th, I'm going to go with Chelsea.
I think the same thing. I think the Chelsea are going to finish there.
4th, I'm going to go with Arsenal.
I think the same thing.
Now 3rd, I know I like Man City and Liverpool. I know I've had them to lose quite a few, like lose some and draw some. But then I've done the same with Tottenham. But I don't know what I've done. But for safety precautions, and I know I've been more realistic. We did do a whole video on this before, and Spurs won the league for me. I was not realistic at all. But to be more realistic, this I'm going to go with Tottenham 3rd. But I'm not going to be surprised with the results I've done. What I remember, if the top 3 is modelled up.
I think the same sort of thing. I don't think Tottenham will come 3rd. I think Manchester City will come 3rd. I said previously in the video that I think that Manchester City are going to be found out by a few teams now. I think that Pep Guardiola has a big task on his hands to try and evolve the tactic.
So 3rd and 2nd on the screen you see Tottenham or Man City for me.
I've put Manchester City. So
right. Definite Man City.
Yeah.
Right. Second I'm going to go more Man City than Spurs.
I think Spurs will come 2nd. I'm sorry, but I don't think they'll win the league. Liverpool are too good.
Yeah. Top, definitely Liverpool in the league. I have no shame in saying that. Liverpool
Yeah,
in the league.
It'll be it'll be the end to a long, hard wait. Obviously, this is what we think. I don't know. I know it's already been said, but we think we haven't actually seen. Now we're going to go through the results of what we think the final Premier League day is going to be, and then we're going to scroll to the bottom, and we're going to go up one by one, and we might have a little talk about it or something like that. But yeah, game week 38 starts with Arsenal versus Watford. I think it'll be a 2-2 draw.
I've gone 3-1 Arsenal.
Burnley versus Brighton. What's a dull fucking final game of the season that is. Burnley versus Brighton, I think will be 2-1 to Brighton.
1-0 Brighton.
Should have kept Chris Hughton. Very tasty ending day fixture for Chelsea. At home to Wolves. Like Aaron said, they could be resting on top 4 here. Wolves might be knocking on the door. They've definitely been in the Europa League, fighting for that, I think. I put them to win. I put them to win 3-2.
I've gone 2-1 Chelsea.
Crystal Palace at home to Tottenham. What do you think it's going to be as it's your club's final day?
Apart from the FA Cup, it's always 1-0 at their ground to us, so 1-0 Tottenham.
I've gone with 2. Everton's final fixture is against Bournemouth. I think it'll be a 2-1 win to them.
I've gone with 2-0 Everton, given last day of the season 6th in the table.
Marco Silva's done wonders. Leicester City's final game is against Manchester United. Very tasty game for the neutral, potentially. Leicester might be fighting for Europe. Manchester United could be fighting for Europe, but they could be fighting for Champions League or Europa League. I don't know. But I'll go with a 2 draw again.
Now, this in real life and potentially this, I see this being a potential fight for 7th place because the FA Cup could give you Europa League. I've gone with Leicester winning 1-0, which my vision, Leicester finish 7th and get Europa League through a top 4 club winning the FA Cup, and Man United finish 8th.
Manchester City's final day at home to Norwich. Norwich could be down and out. Both of us said that they're getting relegated, so they could be down and out, or this could be a game to keep them up. This could be the game that gets them relegated. I don't know. I've gone with 2-1 Manchester City.
5-0 Man City.
Well, if that is your game to get relegated, see you later in a big style, and come and give good old Fulham a big up.
But this sort of game, it just does remind me of Man City QPR.
Balotelli, Aguero!
Newcastle against Liverpool. What are you saying?
Gone 2-1 Liverpool.
I've gone with 3-0 Liverpool. Liverpool might win, get crowned the champions away. Newcastle could be walking off the pitch relegated. And Southampton, Sheffield United. It'd be absolutely great if Sheffield United managed to survive.
Yeah.
Chris Wilder would have done an absolutely amazing job. I've gone with 2-1 to Southampton.
1-0 Southampton.
And finally, we have a Claret Vale derby. West Ham versus Aston Villa. West Ham are going to win 2-0 in my opinion.
I think they'll win 2-0 as well.
They're both going to be mid-table. So now we're going to go through and react to the results.
So, bottom 3.
Have you gone bottom 3, yeah?
Yeah, I'm going
I'm
up.
slowly scrolling up.
So I've seen my bottom 3.
I've seen my bottom 3 now as well.
So 20th on 18 points is Sheffield United.
20th for me, a team who I said were going to get relegated, but I didn't expect them to come bottom. Burnley on 11 points.
19th, 19 points, Burnley.
19th on 18 points, Norwich.
18th on 20 points, Brighton.
18th on 20 points, Newcastle. So I was kind of right in what I was thinking. Again, this is just no disrespect to the fans of the club. It's just what we're thinking.
In 17th for me on 23 points is Newcastle.
And 17th for me, surviving relegation by goal difference on 20 points as well, Brighton.
16th, 27 points, Southampton.
16th and 23 points, Sheffield United. You're staying up, you're doing it at Huddersfield.
15th, surprisingly, 29 points, Norwich.
15th, kind of bog standard, Southampton, 27 points.
14th, 31 points, Bournemouth.
14th for me on 31 points. Oh, Watford.
13th, box standard on 31 points again, Crystal Palace.
13th for me on 39 points. Bit of a disappointment because they could be top 10, Bournemouth.
12th on 47 points is Watford.
12th for me, Hoggies Boys, 41 points.
11th, 47 points, but 3 better goal difference, West Ham.
I've got another Claret Blue team in 11th. I've gone with the newly promoted though. Aston Villa have a fantastic season, just missing out on top 10 on 43 points.
In 10th on 62 points, Aston Villa. Well done.
In 10th for me, West Ham on 51 points.
In 9th with 63 points, Wolves. In 8th and narrowly missing out on a potential Europa League spot is on 68 points, 1 point behind, is Everton.
In 8th for me, not as quite clear cut to 7th, quite a few points. I can't be bothered to calculate it. Don't disrespect my maths. Is Leicester on 66 points. I've got a 2 in there, so please do not fucking disrespect my maths.
7th, 69 points, is Manchester United.
Just straight about.
I don't know the difference between 6th and 7th, so...
In 7th, for me, on 75 points, Wolves have a great season.
Go to 5th. Oh no, mate! That's mad! In 6th, getting 6th on goal difference, same points, so Everton missed out by 1 point to get 6th or 7th. In 6th is Leicester.
Oh, see, Aaron said that we've done this before, and in my simulation, remember, I asked Leicester finish 5th.
Oh yeah, they did, didn't they?
Yeah. But in 6th for me, on 78 points, is Chelsea. Don't know whether that's necessarily a bad thing for Frank's first season in charge.
5th, Europa League confirmed, is on 73 points, is Chelsea.
5th for me, on 79 points, so Chelsea were a point off getting Europa League guaranteed, is Manchester United.
In 4th, getting Champions League by 1 point and drawing 2 games, 74 points, is Arsenal.
Same, but Arsenal are on 84 points this time, so Arsenal getting Champions League football again.
Right, 3rd, squeaky bum time. In 3rd for me, 93 points, winning 30, drawing 3, losing 5, is Tottenham.
In 3rd for me, on 92 points, so there's quite a difference between 4th and 3rd, is Tottenham. Are you happy with that?
Yeah, I'd take that. In 2nd, on 99 points, I'm going to look at 1st as well. In 1st, losing out on the title by 4 points, losing 1 game but drawing 6. 2nd is Liverpool. So winning the league is Manchester City. Not what I said normally.
In 2nd for me, on 103 points, is Liverpool. Liverpool on 103 points. Liverpool on 103 points. 62 goal difference. Winning the league, Manchester City on 103 points with 64 goal difference.
1 goal.
That's mental. And Manchester City lost 3. Liverpool only lost 1.
But yeah, that's the tables for us. If you want to comment what you just think, and we look to do weekly Premier League videos, that's what's been said. Whether it happens, I don't know. But yeah, if any of us watching, if you've been here for how long it is, well done. And yeah, we'll see you guys later. Subscribe to the channel. Goodbye.
Shalom! That was the most gayest shalom.